So this problem of generalization, oh man, if there's one emotional, ridiculous, brain retarded, actually makes my computer run slower defense that I would scrub from human consciousness, it would be the generalization defense. This, I know exceptions to the rule, therefore the rule is invalid, or the tendency is invalid, is so eye-rollingly retarded that it's hard to respond to it with a straight face. It's like responding to a baby making a spit bubble, as if it's an argument. Good point there. Very poppy. In general, Orientals are shorter than Caucasians, right? This is a generalization. Now, for you to stick your shaven armpit arm up in the air and say, I know a tall Chinese guy, is so stupid. I don't even know what to say. I mean, I don't even know how to respond to that. I mean, just try that. Try that. Summers are generally warmer than winters. Summers are generally warmer than winters. Can you handle that? Oh, I knew a cold day in summer once. So no, summers are not generally... Oh, I mean, my God, what do you even say? There's a monsoon season in India. Oh, I knew a day in the monsoon season where it didn't rain, so no, there's no monsoon season. I mean, how do you even respond to this? Without rolling your eyes so far in your head, you can see down your spine to your own ass. I don't know how it's possible. One thing that Karen Strawn, a.k.a. Girl Writes What, said when she was questioned, she said, one of my big advantages as someone who talks about gender is I can take generalized statements about women in a non-personal way, right? The more you emotionally react to a generalization, the more that generalization fits you, right? So if you're a tall Chinese guy and you hear that Chinese guys are generally shorter, say, than Caucasians, you look around and you say, yeah, I mean, I get that. I see mostly the tops of people's heads, so I accept and understand that. But if you are a really short Chinese guy, that's going to sting you. It's going to upset you. And then you're going to want to respond. The more emotional you get about an argument that you perceive as critical, almost for certain, the more that argument applies to you. In fact, in sort of the men's rights movement, there's even an acronym for it called NAWALT. Not all women are like that. So it's not a tiny sample. In the actual show, I produced statistics to back it up, that half of women would lie to their partner if they got pregnant by another man and pass the child off as their own if they didn't want to leave him. That 65% of single women will not tell you if they have an STD. That 90 to 95% of women tell enormous lies in relationships and maintain them. These are facts based upon pretty, I was going to say broad, pretty large sample sizes. So, or when I say that women tend to cluster around the center of the intelligence map, whereas there are more dumb and more brilliant men, right? It's a shallower bell curve. These are established facts about IQ that have been replicated all over the world. And, you know, people saying, I know a smart woman. I don't believe people are that stupid. Like, I really don't. This is my gift to you, I guess. People just aren't that dumb. I mean, my daughter understands that an exception to a trend does not invalidate the trend. Right? I mean, she gets that, and she got that around the age of 4. So unless I'm willing to assume that the people who say, I know an exception to the trend, therefore the trend is invalid, I have to assume that they have the mental age of 3-year-olds. And in fact, even babies 7 or 8 months old can do statistical reasoning. This has been, well, established. You can read more about this in Alison Gopnik's work. She's been on the show as well. So unless I'm willing to assume that the majority of people have the average intelligence of a 2 or 3-year-old, I have to assume that it's an emotional defense, that there's a truth about it which stings them, and therefore they are responding to it by attempting to invalidate the argument. It is really, really terrible. Most men approach women, and most women make themselves attractive to draw men in to their Venus flytrap, so to speak. And then saying, well, I know a woman who approaches a man is just so irrelevant. I mean, you're basically just standing up in front of some beautiful philosophical music, squeaking out a juicy M16 trombone-like wet fart and thinking you've added to the music. You've just embarrassed yourself, and do not pat yourself on the back for your contribution to the intellectual life of the species. So when I say women in general are X, then he says not all women are X. And again, this is the generalization, retardation, that occurs. Yes, I understand, right? I understand. But anyway, so again, this is the kind of emotional reactivity that literally turns people into hyperlinguistic lizards, right? When you get defensive, like you can see this in brain scans, you get defensive, your neofrontal cortex shuts down, the higher reasoning shuts down, and all you do is respond emotionally and defensively. And so it's really like if you could speak a lizard to talk and scared it with something, it would give you a long lecture on the evil of you scaring it, but it wouldn't be activating any neofrontal cortex because it wouldn't actually have one.